Yeah, see, now it warns you. I just can't like hit it.
Uh-oh.
Now you know when it's live.
So
every website's all like, accept the cookies. I'm like, I don't like fucking cookies.
Right?
really?
Something had to
cookies.
have changed.
I want cookies. They just never sent them to me yet.
Yeah. What was that horrible meme that was passing around like the other week or whatever that what was it? Freaking the picture of the car or whatever with the cookies on the dashboard or whatever, and it's got the old lady outside going, the cookies are done when the child stops screaming or something.
What?
You never seen that?
No.
Now I have to find it. Freaking horrible meme.
The cookies are done when the child stops screaming. Are you making cookies out of the child?
No, I'll Can I just copy the? Yeah, thank you. This meme, this horrible meme.
Okay. So they're baking the cookies on the dash, like a using the heat of the car, the greenhouse effect and all that. But the kind of like thing that's like the little thermometer where the thing pops up. But in this case, it's the baby inside. Once it stops screaming, then the cookies are cooked to their perfection.
Right.
And so is the baby.
Which makes much sense, because why did we lose Joe? Oh, he's back. All right.
Too much baby cooking talk. Couldn't handle it.
Did the baby cooking, like, did it bother you so much?
No. when I
you can't handle the heat. Sorry.
It was making me hungry. I had to step away for a second. Sorry.
Damn.
Well, see, that's the weird thing. Like, what do you normally bake cookies at? Like, what temperature is that a normal?
350.
Celsius
I'm not
or
much of a
Fahrenheit?
baker.
50.
I'm not much of a baker, but 350.
Yeah, 350 works.
I'm pretty sure the baby would be dead before those cookies ever finished, because cars can only reach a maximum of 140 degrees. They can't get any hotter. Oh.
I was gonna go a different way with that. The baby would have had to have been dead before, because you got to cut them into pieces to make the cookies. But
Man.
Sorry.
It was like, that was uncalled for.
Speaking of protein and cookies, they are working on like grasshopper flour. Have you all heard about that?
No, I have not.
Yeah, that's like a thing that they're trying to incorporate. They can like somehow extract the starch and or some proteins or something in such a way from grasshoppers and grind it down, and you can make perfectly good like chocolate chip cookies with some grasshopper flour.
Really?
No dead babies required.
So can they use the big ass grasshoppers?
Big ass grasshoppers? I don't know. Probably. Probably make big ass mound of flour.
What the fuck were those things called? Locusts.
Locusts. Well, locusts are crazy. Locusts are interesting because that's like a behavior of grasshopper. Like some species of grasshopper can form the behavior that we call locusts. Like locusts are just grasshoppers. They just
that picture I sent you was one giant ass grasshopper. That could
have just been a big ass fucking grasshopper, or it could have been one from a locust swarm that kind of got away. They do kind of spread out a bunch, but yeah, that was just it's called a yellow grasshopper. Those things are fucking huge.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't a locust. That was actually a grasshopper. Okay.
It was the style of grasshopper. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Look up yellow grasshopper. It'll look just like that picture, probably.
Holy crap. Those things were like, God, man. I don't even. Kind of hard to compare it because I mean it's still a bug, but like, I don't know. That's got to be that is literally the biggest grasshopper I've ever fucking seen.
They're pretty, aren't they? They're cool looking.
Yeah, I was
Like a fucking transformer.
Whatever, when they were like sitting on the leaves there by the water, and I'm just like, I was fascinated by it. I'm like, I've never seen something that big before. Not a grasshopper. It was insane. I mean, they were so damn heavy, they were bending over the leaves they were perched on.
Yeah, more like a grass bender.
Like airbender.
That's what I was
bending
thinking.
grass.
They're avatar grasshoppers. Damn it.
I mean, Korra could kind of bend grass, sort of. She could bend things with water in them. She was powerful enough. Did y'all ever watch Korra, Legend of Korra?
No, I have not.
Yes, I haven't.
Pretty good. If you liked Avatar, then it's definitely worth a watch.
I was gonna say that there's gonna be a I guess well, not quite a hot take, but I've never seen Avatar, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
You really? No, I'm just kidding.
As the whole internet goes, what?
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's good. I highly recommend it. I mean, to be, perfectly clear, I've only watched it like a year and a half ago. Only very recently did I ever watch it, and yeah, it's really good.
It's just kind of one of those things that, like, I guess I probably meant to watch it and never sat down to do it. But hey, whatever.
Once you get started, it's easy to binge. It's easy to watch for sure.
Yeah, but that's why I stopped binging stuff, because like
It's too easy.
Start and then yeah, exactly.
You just don't stop. Yeah.
Right. It's just like to the next, and then I look at the clock and it's 4 a.m. and I'm like, fuck. God damn it.
That happens to me far too often.
Yeah. Not a fan of that when I have to be up at work, or up for work. Up.
Yeah, usually I'm in bed, a couple hours before that.
Like, great. Now I get 2 hours of sleep. Fuck.
Instead of my normal 4.
Damn.
I don't know.
Brutal.
So we had a long hiatus there. Welcome everybody to Technically Incorrect, as my thing is all weird and everything. But yeah, we haven't done an episode in what? Almost a month now? Probably a month now? Something like that?
Wow, yeah. I'd have to check our channel to see when the last one we posted was.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm Rob, as it says in the bottom corner of the box right there, and we're joined by Scott, who is currently in this direction on my screen, and where's my finger? There we go. And Joe down there at the bottom. I don't know if that's correct on your guys' screen, but I don't care, because that's what I'm looking at.
And what you're recording, so.
Yeah. So what did we have this week? Where do we want to start? Where do we want to start? We want to start with...
I mean, either topic. Last video we did, I do believe we talked about like renewable energy and stuff, as far as, how viable is it really, and storage for that energy and stuff like that, to make it effective as a solution. And that one article that I posted, just something that I came across that's potential for some major storage energy from what I'm seeing. So just kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about it, get your opinions.
Okay, so renewable energy storage it is.
So what is this thing again? Remind me what was the article about?
A way to store, I mean, it's not necessarily specifically for renewable energy, but it's just energy storage, if you will. But it's basically where you there's already processes where these blocks of ceramic are used in metalworking and furnaces and stuff like that, because they hold heat very well. And one of the ideas is that you can use the energy from renewable energy, such as solar or wind or something like that, that isn't producing all the time, but that you want to store all the energy that it produces whenever you can. So the idea is that you'll heat these blocks up till they're like white hot, and that energy is stored in those blocks, and you can release that energy to provide an extra boost to the grid when necessary.
But wouldn't you would have to constantly keep them hot?
They stay pretty hot, and from what I understand, I mean, it's something that they already do in certain industrial applications now. They don't reconvert the heat to energy, which is what this is talking about, is using energy to heat them up and then using the heat to produce energy again. But the blocks will store that heat for a while, from what I understand, and it'll almost always have the energy going in to heat it up, you know?
I like when I found the I think this is the actual article, or like the research like paper about that was linked from the article. It mentions a leakage, the heat leakage of, they kind of brag about it. They say less than 3% per day of, like, I guess the storage capacity of what this because basically what you're saying is that it's a ceramic block that they use electrical energy, pump a bunch of heat into it, but then they just kind of hold on to that heat, because that heat can then be used to convert that back into electrical energy for later use.
Correct.
Okay, and so they're saying 3% per day, but they kind of brag about that. To me, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like within a couple weeks or months, you'd probably have lost everything.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's incorrect, because obviously there's loss in the system, but I think the bigger takeaway is that on a daily basis, they're going to be recharging these things more than likely. I mean, the idea is to hold the energy for as long as you can, but not to just kind of let it sit there either. I'm sure that, you know, it'll be used and charged and used and charged. So when you're talking about 3% loss over, how long did you say it was? Over a day?
Yeah, a day.
If you're generating more than that and the grid's not pulling more than that, then, you know, I mean, it's kind of an even trade-off.
So basically, not letting it go to waste.
What?
Yeah, so that's, I guess what I was getting at is it doesn't sound like a good long-term storage solution like, say, batteries are. Batteries are really good at that. They have very minimal loss comparatively, but it sounds like what you're saying, this would be good for something like peak hours of the day. You know, you could.
Well, let me put it to you like this. It's probably more of a cost thing, because probably a lot cheaper to build farms of these things. And when you're talking about connecting them to, say, solar panels that will every day be charging them up, just to have that energy, which otherwise would just be lost, is it now more worth it? I mean, because you don't necessarily need them to hold a charge for a long time. You just need them to hold the charge for when it's needed. So for like solar panels, they're not generating at night. That's when you would use the power.
Well, so this is what I kind of am thinking about. Like, if we had, say, every power plant or a bunch of power plants that had one of these like attached to it, that could basically store some energy, like, say, overnight, they charge them up with heat, and then the next day they can discharge them during peak hours, and then they don't have to do this, like, because apparently it's a really tough job to balance out
the load.
Yeah, managing the load at peak hours and stuff like that, and the different power plants are suited in different ways to handle that. What I'm imagining is they could run at like a lower, more efficient rate, and then just charge up in not peak hours, use this to kind of hedge those peak hours, and thus it would make, you know, it would couple really well even with like renewables, you know, for that matter, where you know, solar energy or wind energy, people argue, yeah, well, you can't always charge, you know, you don't always have the sun out, you know, you need the sun to do solar, you need the wind to do wind energy. Well, this could, you know, you could charge any excess up from that and then use that to sort of supplement in the times of need. So it doesn't need to last months, right?
What are we using to heat these ceramic or graphite blocks?
Electricity.
Well, yeah, electricity generated traditionally by something renewable that you cannot generate all the time. So like solar panels would heat the blocks via various different methods that I'm sure that you could use, but you just heat the blocks.
You're using energy to create energy.
No, it's to store the energy.
Yeah, it's store. So you know the saying that you can't create or destroy energy, it just is what it is. So it's a way of taking the energy from solar, for example, that we can't use as solar energy. We need it to be electricity. So we convert it into electricity, but now we can't use it immediately, or we don't want to use it immediately. So we have to transmit it into a storage medium, some sort of battery. In this case, the battery happens to be something we can heat up with the energy we generate. So that heat itself is a form of energy. Then you take that energy, you use that to create electrical power later on when you need it.
So you're just changing what it is. I mean, you're taking solar energy, converting it to electric energy, then converting it to thermal energy to later be turned back into electricity.
Well, hold up. The thing he was just saying solar energy, for instance. The
Yes.
thing the article is about is not about solar energy. The article is about a ceramic thing that heats up and holds thermal energy really well, basically.
More or less, yes.
And that thermal energy can then be, so you can use some spare electrical energy, say that you used in the night, you just kept, your power plant running at whatever base speed, and then you siphon off whatever leftover energy that people aren't using into this, and you heat up these devices, and then the next day you can off-put that heat energy and convert that back into electrical energy via a gas turbine, or even heating up water, steam, and stuff like that. There's various ways that you can use that heat. I think the article you sent even mentioned using the heat in more obvious ways, like for concrete, they heating up different things, making concrete or steel, or using that heat straight up for what heat does, not even having to convert it back into electrical energy.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
And this is more efficient than storing it in battery cells?
Cheaper, I'm sure. I'm sure ceramic blocks are probably pound for pound cheaper than a lithium ion battery is.
But not more efficient.
As graphite or ceramic?
Not necessarily. But again, I think the thing is we're not really looking for the most efficient thing. We just want something that is cheap and scalable that can hold a lot of energy.
But
I agree. Yeah.
So these are just being made out of ceramic.
Yeah, they're basically ceramic.
This one
blocks.
is. I've seen a couple. There's some group that was using molten sodium, I think, or super hot sodium. There was another group that was using molten silicone, effectively to do the same thing as this.
You mentioned the sodium. I know of other solar farms that use refractive mirrors and stuff they focus it on a tank that is up on a tower. And in that tank is quite literally a salt solution that they heat up to thousands of degrees, and it goes down, and by using gravity in this hot liquid, it turns steam turbines, which create electricity. So it's another way of using the thermal energy from the sun rather than the photovoltaic energy of the sun. So I'm sorry, I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I was just saying about the molten energy storage is pretty interesting too, because that's a very effective means of storage also.
Yeah, it's basically the same idea. You're storing it as heat, and then you can then later turn that heat back into
energy.
Electrical energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a way of storing it, because it's really hard to store electricity by itself. But batteries, like you mentioned, they're actually really good at that and really hard to beat out.
And think of the components and the just the rare materials that are used in batteries versus these. I mean, you could set up probably 100 of these things, where the cost it would take to probably set up one battery farm. I mean, I'm just talking out my ass numbers there. I don't really know, but I figure that this is probably going to be cheaper than the other thing, just for the simple fact of resources that are used.
I mean, as we're talking about this, this like reminds me of this one thing I heard of. Have y'all heard of the gravity battery?
That's actually mentioned in this article.
Okay,
They
yeah.
basically drop a weight to generate energy.
Yeah, like literally big concrete blocks, huge concrete blocks that you can use essentially just a crane, basically, with a special pulley system that can turn it, you know, the kinetic energy into electrical energy, and just basically lifts up the weight. And it, you know, just by dropping the weights back down, you know, after building up this like concrete, you know, almost like a Lego block, like kind of tower kind of thing, you can generate that energy. It's just such a fascinating idea to me. It's so simple, you know, using gravity basically to store electrical energy. And they're really efficient, apparently.
Well,
they're fairly
things in flashlights, whatever, with the coils, you know, they call them the jack-off lights. We just jack off whatever.
I think that's the technical term.
Power.
The dynamo, yeah.
It's like a shake weight, but useful.
And yet still somehow unnerving.
Yeah, I know. It's like, could you imagine like being like on the side of the road or something? Like you got a flat tire at night, you pull off the road and you're going to get your flashlight, but the thing's dead or whatever, and then like you're sitting there like shaking it, trying to charge it, and the cop comes up behind you or whatever. It's like
leaning in your trunk, shaking
like,
it.
Oh no, I'm charging my flashlight. I'm just charging my flashlight. Man.
Oh man, that's...
like nobody thought about that. I mean, yeah, okay, it works, it's good, great, but nobody thought about that.
Is it great though? I'm pretty sure I remember them sucking ass.
I don't know.
I probably
had 2 or 3 in my life, and
something about like the physics of the dynamo, like you just need to expend so much energy doing it to make any useful amount of electrical energy. Just silly.
Yeah. Anybody that is into like I guess bodybuilding, everything, whatever, we can just give them a whole bunch of those, and that can be their job all day. They can just sit there.
Little like
have warehouses with full of people doing nothing but this.
Yeah. Just all day. That's all you got to do.
I mean, I've heard of worse ideas to supply jobs to the masses, right? Energy is very expensive and lucrative, right? I mean, supposedly, if you could get enough people generating energy, it could be worth it.
It's like that Rick and Morty episode. There's like a bunch of Mortys up like all along a tower they're using as like an energy source. Rick's just like, yeah, you could do the same with 5 Mortys, you know? Anyway,
anyone else see that? Your goggles were like floating in the
Yeah, they were confused. They didn't know where to go.
They went off to another dimension, man. But yeah, there's another design that's like flywheels. It's like, I think they're electromagnetic, but you can like spin a flywheel and get it like spinning up and store the energy in that spinning flywheel that's like in a vacuum chamber and like, you know, as frictionless as possible, and then you can siphon that back off.
It's more or less what happens inside of a clutch, and also that's regenerative braking.
Essentially, it's a similar idea. It's taking the same idea as regenerative braking, which is just basically taking a motor, and instead of powering the motor, you run it in reverse. You use the same electromagnetic system to generate energy back the other way, rather than putting energy in it to get it to spin.
Exactly. You would take the heat from the braking, create energy from that, store it by spinning this flywheel one way really fast, and then when you need the energy, it'll spin the other way, right?
I don't know. I think it just depends on the device too. Like, I was reading about one that's just like this little NASA little device that they built that's just like a flywheel that they spin. They didn't really go into the specifics of which direction it's spinning, just that they basically get it to spin up to speed, which only takes like a few minutes, and you can store a lot of energy in that, because basically doing what you're saying, you use the regenerative braking effect, or basically the using induction of the electromagnetic, current. You're using the magnets spinning around in an electrical field to induce an electrical current. And that's going to basically be the friction source and cause it to slow down, and you're siphoning off energy that way. Like you said, it's the same exact idea as regenerative braking. Literally how that works too. Which is actually kind of basically how a dynamo kind of works, sort of.
I mean, again, that's thermal energy too, right? So
what is
regenerative braking? I mean, that's just heating stuff up.
I don't know exactly how heat fits into the equation. I saw another article that was saying heat as well, but it's more the rotation, I thought, that induced the current. It's more the...
I don't know, I thought it was friction. I don't know, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was a friction thing too. But there may be more than one way to do it also. I mean, again, not an expert, none of us are, so
I'm just trying to explain my understanding, because if it's a motor, basically an electrical motor running in reverse, then that's using the spinning effect to get the energy. I think I don't see how the heat, you know what I mean? I don't see how the heat plays into that, but maybe somebody in the comments can help us with that.
Uses vehicle's momentum to recover energy that would otherwise be lost to the that's weird. To the brakes as heat, or through the brakes as heat.
So it would otherwise be lost as heat. Interesting.
So basically they capture the energy somehow before it had
energy is converted to unwanted and wasted heat due to friction. Energy is recovered by using electric motors as generators, but is immediately dissipated as heat in resistors.
So what the hell would be the point?
Like I said, I never thought it was like, what do you call it? That efficient, I guess. But the only application of this I've ever seen is in hybrid cars. So.
Mm-hmm. It's the only place I know of it being used to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that all electric cars have this too, but I don't know.
Because it was one of the earlier potential solutions to, range and having to regenerate power and charge times and all of that was, well, let's see what energy can we recapture from the whole thing.
But I mean, hybrids, you don't charge. The engine takes care of that.
Yeah.
So
I guess, in a hybrid, you're right.
And for the most part, I mean, I guess I don't know if there are some
could charge them too.
Some hybrids now that can actually be used as full electrics until they get drained, but most of them, once you get over a certain speed, which is literally like 10, 15 miles an hour, you're not using just the electric anymore anyway, because the engine's going to kick in. The electric motor's still running with the gas engine motor,
but it's still
so it's helping, but it's not all electric once you get over a certain range, because it would run out of power too quick. They weren't designed for that. They're not a full electric car. So
truly a hybrid.
But again, like that's where I saw like the first applications of regenerative braking. So I wouldn't assume, I think they're just trying to be as efficient as possible, although that process probably is not that efficient. They're just trying not to be wasteful. Was my kind of take on it. But
specifically for the ceramic thing?
Heard it here first. I am not an engineer.
What, Scott?
You saying, I was just asking Rob, you're referring to the ceramics thing?
Just regenerative braking on cars.
Oh, okay.
No, the ceramic thing or whatever, apparently that's efficient, although I'm kind of unsure, because even that article that you put in Discord or whatever says blocks made from graphite or ceramics, so it can be either or, I'm assuming. which graphite is used in batteries.
Well, it's saying those.
Graphite's used in a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
But isn't that like one of the
Speaking of what else it's used in, the aerogel stuff.
segues abound.
Is it though?
Extremely low density graphene based aerogel.
It's
They
graphene.
call it Meringene. MERINGUE.
Yeah, right.
No, that's
Meringue.
Merengue.
no, meringue.
Merengue.
That they're saying it's meringue like. So it's like the stuff that is meringues.
Actual name. That was not it. But yes, apparently there's a bath salts company or something that made graphite meringue pie.
I don't know about bath salts, but it is baths
Materials and structures center.
which
Math.
somehow makes mast. Don't ask me how.
I don't know.
Mast.
Material
yes.
and structure
MAST.
lost with the T.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whatever. But it's fine. If that's what they want to call themselves, they can call themselves that. Totally fine.
I mean, everybody knows what aerogel is, right? These days, like everybody's heard of that.
I would hope so, yeah.
Because, like, if you don't, then
Rob?
what have you been sleeping under a rock?
Come on, I thought we've discussed this too already, haven't we?
My bed's made out of it. It's fine.
Like, do we really need to give aerogel an introduction? Not everybody knows what aerogel is. Okay, so basically, it's mostly air by the end of it, but
90%, I think.
they take a solution. In this case, it was something called polyvinyl alcohol. It's just a polymer that they get to just the right like solution levels and stuff, and they can make a gel, and then they're able to evaporate the solvent from that, and it leaves behind this really airy gel-like structure that's like only like 50% material, and then the other 50% is air, and so it's like very light, super light, and aerogel
It has amazing thermal and sound properties.
Yeah, basically it's very fragile, or a lot of the forms of it are very fragile, as it might sound. It can be very crumbly, but yeah, it can be very like Joe said, it's very good at absorbing heat. There's a Veritasium video. He puts like some goop on his hand and is able to take a blowtorch and just spray it right at his hand, and it's just like kind of like building up char and like glowing orange, the goop is, but not even damaging his hand.
Yeah.
Crazy. So clearly it's a testament to how good this kind of stuff can be, this meringue stuff. The thing about it is, this little picture, he's holding a little tiny, it looks like a little like Oreo sized little piece. And my concern with this, with any like aerogel or any material science thing, is how is it going to scale up? He's got this little Oreo thing, and he's saying we can cover aircrafts with it, to make them more sound resistant, which makes sense, basically cover the surface of it in this stuff, and it's going to make it a lot quieter. It's going to be like insulation for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be quieter, sure, but
right. It seems like a minimal kind of thing, but it's like he's also only got a little tiny bit. I worry that it would be really hard to make enough to even coat an aircraft in an economically feasible way.
I don't think they're trying to coat the whole aircraft, buddy. I think they're just talking about the engines themselves.
This is what I was kind of interested in about it, was the fact that how hard is this stuff to make? as you said, he's got like a small amount of it that he's sitting there playing with, and I mean,
indicates that I think they're working on producing more, but
yeah. But I mean, is this
could be in use within 18 months.
Yeah, that's something that I think is hilarious. 18 months? That seems very optimistic to me. Okay, well, how about this? We will check in 18 months. We will do another episode on this podcast in 18 months. We will see if they are now using this material in every aircraft.
no?
Or in any. I mean, I'm not thinking that it will be in every aircraft or anything like that even, but just like with anything, it needs to be adopted and accepted and proven and all of that. If it's not going to be able to make it through all that, then...
Yeah, but I mean, do you really need to coat the entire plane with it?
Well, like Joe said,
they're not talking about coating the entire plane.
The engine compartment, the engine.
If they can keep the noise from escaping the engine itself, that'll help the sound over the whole plane.
Right.
That's the idea, is that they're blocking the noise from getting out of the engine housing itself.
But an aircraft engine is still huge. My point is, it would take a lot to make a lot of this stuff. I'm arguing that scaling this kind of thing up is always the issue.
I have no argument there. I have no idea how they plan to do that either.
But no, that was my interest, was how much does that cost what he's holding?
Yeah, they don't mention that. They just say that it's very light.
What is the before of that? Like, how long did it take to get that? How much did it take to get that?
I would ask.
That's what I'm saying. He's got one little sample to show.
I would ask this though. First off, we don't know if that's all he has or not. I mean, that's just what we see. Okay, but let's not just jump to conclusions. And then two, we also don't know what the cost is. Yes, but would they be talking about doing it if it wasn't cost effective?
Yes. As a researcher, yes, they want to get their name out there and
if they can get someone to fund it, they don't care.
Yeah, I mean, again, who's gonna fund something that isn't like, show me the financials, you know? I wouldn't fund anything like that. It does happen. Okay, guys, come on, be serious here. This is on.
I'm being a skeptic about this. Like,
I understand you are being a skeptic. We are very much like-minded when it comes to that. My point is that I think you're going a little extreme here, in the sense that I really don't think that they would be talking about using it in 18 months if they didn't do some pricing.
That's what I'm saying, is I think they're being extreme by saying 18 months. They're being very overzealous in that estimate, and it's hilarious because I would bet money that it's not going to be being used in 18 months. The process just takes longer than that. It's highly over optimistic, and he's just trying to like make the thing sound better than it actually is, frankly.
I think that's a fairly big assumption to me.
Well, that's marketing. That's a selling point.
The whole 18 months thing, I'm not going to argue.
This shit sucks. I don't know who in the world is ever going to use this for anything if you're the person making it.
Right. I mean, who would ever say that? So
you're gonna
the whole 18 months thing
benefits.
I agree that I can't say that that's even plausible, but I mean, again, to me, it just says logically they wouldn't say something like that if they didn't do some, back end work on that.
This is the thing. This is the thing with new battery types of technology, and this is the thing with aerogel. Aerogel is another one of those things that people have kind of used as a scapegoat for pseudoscience, and not even pseudoscience, but like borderline a good, science or developments. And people have really been trying to push the envelope for things like graphene and aerogels. And that's not to say that they don't exist. Just people try to push that envelope a little too hard because they do have things on the line, like they made this product and they want to make money off of it. So it's good to be, I think it's good to try to keep that in mind when considering these types of things. They go in patterns,
Yeah.
But who's to say, this guy's got the product now, right? I mean, how many other things have somebody come up with, and then somebody else figures out a way to mass produce it or a way to make it cheaper?
It happens all the time.
I mean, that raises an interesting question in my mind. Do they maybe already coat the engines in insulation? I'm sure they do to some degree.
To some degree, I would assume.
I would assume, yeah. Also, it would not.
Some kind of preparations of that sort, yeah.
If we're gonna pad our cars against noise, why would we not pad our plane engines, right? I mean,
well, maybe it's not even just noise. Maybe it's like a heat thing or something. I don't know.
There's tires that have foam in them for Teslas, right? To quiet the noise because there's no engine, so the car doesn't really produce any noise other than road noise, right?
I didn't know that.
So they put foam in the tires in order to help quiet down the road noise. It's not aerogel, it's just foam.
Isn't that an issue though? Having too quiet of vehicles, because then they become a hazard.
Have you seen the telemetry stuff or whatever in videos on the Teslas? Like, no, even if somebody did not hear the car and stepped out into the road or whatever, the car is going to stop anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, even if it's like person is in full control, it's still going to stop for a person.
Most people don't drive their Teslas. They drive themselves.
Yeah, but like, what if? I'm just saying, what if? In the fictional world where some jackass is actually driving his fucking Tesla.
With the, what do you call it? But the car will drive itself with the autopilot programs where it'll do everything for you but steer, right? Now the Teslas steer, so, or change lanes or keep you in lanes. I actually don't know if they can make full 90-degree turns on a road. But
well, something tells me they might be able to, because of the whole fact of they will find their way to you. You can call them to you.
Well, yes, but at a very slow speed. If you're going down the highway at 60 miles an hour and you hit the brakes and turn at 30 miles an hour, can it do that? I don't know. But yes, it'll be lanes for you and it will keep you in your lane. You know, and then, like I said, I mean, they've had the technology for years with the automatic braking and the lane departure stuff that'll like warn you if you cross the line, but it won't actually recorrect it for you. You have to do that. It's just like it's probably older than that, but like some of the like 2014 to 16 Volvos and Mercedes and whatnot, they have like pilot programs where it's through cruise control. So you set it and the car, it'll maintain a certain distance from the car in front of you. If they slow down, you slow down. When they speed up, you go. If they pull out of your way, it'll maintain whatever you have this cruise control set to until another obstacle comes in your way. It will fully brake for you. I mean, you don't have to do anything. Like I think the only thing that some of them do, like if the car comes to a complete stop, you have to blip the gas in order to resume, basically. But yeah, they've had that for years. It's nothing new, but it has a shit ton better. You should like look up some of the I guess it's the telemetry data or the algorithmic crap that the Tesla's computers goes through for object avoidance. It's nuts how much stuff is going on in that machine.
I'm sure.
Like how much information is going back and forth there. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you gotta imagine if it's driving down the road and not making any noise, how much more susceptible to deer and things like that would it be, you know?
To what?
To things like deer, you know? If you're making even less noise, and deer already get hit by fucking loud-ass diesel trucks, you know?
I'm wondering if it might actually be a better thing, though, because it's not as much noise to startle them.
In braking, it'll stop. I mean, provided you're not going like 100 miles an hour.
Well, but
the whole reason why like deers and stuff are spooked is because of the noise of the car. With less noise, don't you think they'd be less spooked?
They're still going to be on the damn road.
Yeah, they
don't know a road
and that's what the braking is for.
At 100 miles, Rob is saying if you're not going 100 miles an hour, but where do deer most prominently get on the road? On the fucking highway where you're going 100 miles an hour.
You go 100 miles an hour on the highway on a regular basis?
He lives in Canada. They don't have speed limits.
Let's be real. 60, 70 miles an hour, you're not going to stop on a dime either. Like,
no, but
you're not going to stop for a deer.
Cars will do it. up to like, I think they tested them at like 80 miles an hour or something.
So you're kind of arguing the difference between a person having to have their reaction time versus the computer having to have their reaction time.
No, I'm not arguing reaction time. I'm arguing about a quieter vehicle. Like, I'm not even arguing about auto driving at all. I'm arguing about the noise that an electrical vehicle makes versus a quieter one. I remember hearing something way back in the day when I was like a kid, I think, about electrical vehicles when they were first kind of having a heyday years ago. And they talked about like putting artificial noise into them because of that, things like that, where they might be more of a danger to wildlife at night or whenever, I guess.
No, that's just Ford with the Mustangs. They put artificial exhaust notes in through the speakers so it sounds cooler to you inside the car.
Well, that's funny. but of course they do.
Which is I've tried to do on that. I really believe it's actual thing. There was somebody that had like they did something with it with a fuse pair. There was like 2 amplifier fuses or something, and they made a YouTube video about it. And again, it's YouTube, so I mean, it could have been edited, who knows. But yeah, saying that they pulled like the secondary amplifier fuse out, whatever, and the car sounded different when you were inside driving it. And I'm like,
Could it maybe because half the sound system's not working now?
no, like the exhaust note, he had the radio off. He went for a drive with the car the way it was. And I mean, of course, regardless of what exhaust system you have on your vehicle, when you're inside the car, you don't hear what it sounds like really outside the car. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's most of what people's thing is like, they want to hear it, you know? People drive with their windows down because of this. Well, some people do. But
I've actually been there.
But to pipe that into the car or whatever, so you feel like you're driving a muscle car or you actually get the sound. It has nothing to do with the fact that, oh, the car is not a performance car or it's making it sound like it's faster than it is. It's just giving you that exhaust note that you don't hear when you're inside the car with the windows up.
Maybe it's a little bit of compensation, just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible to have happened. So.
I was like, oh, I wouldn't put it past them. Cool, moving on.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that makes sense to me in my mind, that like quieter cars could be more of an issue for wildlife because they already don't get the fuck out of the way. And so
Tesla should just adorn their vehicles with all those deer whistles.
Oh yeah, those little
you know,
horn things.
Trucks, like the little cones.
Yeah.
Whistles that take in the air. Inaudible to human shit, but deer are supposed to hear it and get out of the way. Yeah.
Dogs flip the fuck out too, I'm sure.
See, that's what I don't get like about this stuff. It's like, okay, just because it's the frequency that an animal can hear or that a deer can hear, so what? So they hear it. Who cares? Like, they don't know what to do about it. Like
yeah.
People are told that, hey, you hear this whistle, you know, move to your left, move to your right, whatever. Cool. We can understand that. A deer can't understand that. Like, they'll hear it, they'll pick their head up.
It's not like Joe Deere has been trained for years to go left when they hear a sign.
Okay, but when I see books in like a dinosaur book of like the dinosaurs looking back up at like the asteroid falling and they look like sad, I get sad, man. Those dinosaurs have been dead for fucking 70 million years and I'm still sad about it, man. I've not gotten over it. So you're gonna ask me to not get sad about some deer? I'm sorry.
I never said that.
But hey, you've seen the way that Tesla's designed, though. I mean, the deer will probably just glide right over the top of it.
That's true. That's true.
Probably just like, you know, land back on its feet and be like, what the fuck was that?
Works for babies too. Brought it back.
Oh God.
And we've gone backwards. Okay.
Sorry, I had to.
Don't they have like a
baby whistle
setting or something?
Child avoidance system.
they have like a baby temperature thermometer thing in the car. See when the baby's done. No, don't they have it like set where you can like set it to like pet mode or something for like when you go in the store and it like
it'll keep the car cool or something.
Yeah, and like, and it might like not let them lock themselves in or something like that too, or something.
No, I did see a
I have no clue.
picture of somebody had a sign on their car or whatever that was all like, windows are down, dog has food and water, do not break windows or something. I was like, okay.
Windows
That has happened to the
down.
person before because they leave
It must have been cracked, probably.
Yeah, no idea. I was just like, good. It's happened so much. People have broken their windows to try to save their dogs so much that they had to put a sign on their car. It's like, maybe
They're just paranoid.
rethink your choices in life. I don't know.
I was gonna say, how much money has that cost them then already? And what is the alternative to what, not bringing your dog and leaving them in the car?
Well, it was a really nice sign. I mean, it was, it was custom sign. It wasn't like they wrote it on a piece of paper and like scotch taped it to the window.
So then they probably had some money, is what you're saying.
Money on it.
Maybe it wasn't the dog is the reason the window was breaking.
I have no idea. It wasn't even a nice looking. I don't know, because it was just a shot of the damn picture. But
Fine.
whatever, doesn't matter. Oh yeah, the other thing. We're a little bit late on this because we haven't done a podcast in a while. But y'all have seen that air car thing, right?
The 3D printed the flying car, yeah. The guy that made the bet with somebody.
Yeah, Klein something or other, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Veritasium thing?
What?
I've never
The
heard
propeller?
of that, but
The propeller car?
Yeah, the one that's like the
Yeah.
wings come out of it or whatever, and in like 3 minutes or something, the wings can come out, fold out, and then it's got the prop in the back of it that flew for like 35 minutes.
yeah,
Not
went
at
from
all
one city
what
to
I-
another.
Okay, not at all talking about the same thing.
No, okay.
I didn't think so. I hadn't heard that term associated with it, but
Yeah, no, I don't.
I know what you're
Veritasium.
talking about though, Rob, because I saw the article too. It's a guy who basically 3D printed his own designed car that is a car and a plane, and it has successfully gone from one city to another on like a 35-minute flight.
There you go, Scott.
Awesome.
Put it in Discord. I mean, it's not an electric plane, not a battery plane, but it is pretty cool. That's the other thing too. I always
Oh, I think I've seen this.
everybody was saying with that small battery powered plane they have that really can't hold a whole lot of people. It was like some big ass Cessna looking thing. Y'all ever seen that? The actual battery powered plane?
I mean, no, I don't think I might have seen it, but I haven't done any reading on it.
Stuff I've seen of it, no solar panels on this thing at all. No solar panels.
Doesn't make sense.
No. I'm like, you're flying in the sky. I mean, put solar panels on and recharge the batteries. I mean, come on.
It probably would add weight.
Well,
You need
yes.
that and all the stuff to go with actually converting it.
Okay, so when they figure out the aluminum batteries, right? Then we will save weight with the aluminum batteries because we won't need the cooling system. So you can then put weight back onto it with the solar panels. Forget it.
I think we should just
I don't
strap
know.
some ceramic blocks to it and eat them up.
And then you could fly forever.
Why are we putting ceramic blocks on a plane? Is that shake weight theory thing again? It'll go
Goes
up
up,
and
must
down,
go
right?
down.
Dude, could you imagine powering a plane with that? Just to do with a bunch of dudes with shake weights?
Oh my god. Every passenger. Beat it like your heart does. I don't know.
Come on, guys, we're going down.
That's it. Everybody's got a shake weight with a
Oh my
cord
God.
hook to it.
No, you gotta have one for both hands, man. Gotta use all resources.
Oh, you gotta double fist it.
Yeah. And you gotta oscillate them separately or whatever. You can't get the same rhythm going.
When
Yeah,
one
you
goes
gotta
up,
have
the other must go
alternating
down.
current. You can't have direct current. You gotta have alternating current.
Oh, guys.
Love it. But yeah, that air car thing, man, like that is some neat shit. Like make you bet Elon Musk is like, damn, why didn't I think of this?
Yeah, it's his next endeavor.
It worked. I mean, it's not like, like you know, all his rockets that went up and exploded until they finally got it right, it worked. Then again, I'm pretty sure none of these exploded. Maybe some of the trials didn't actually work and he didn't actually take off, but pretty sure this thing never exploded.
I mean, there's a reason they call it rocket science, though, too. I think it's a little harder.
Well, it's not rocket science, right?
Well, but Elon Musk is doing actual rocket science.
Okay, fine. Defend the guy. I mean, whatever.
Trust me, that's the last bit of defending I will ever do for Elon Musk. I will not defend him anymore. Like,
he doesn't need it.
He doesn't at all. Freaking. I would love to have a one-on-one with Mr. Musk.
Have you tried emailing him?
Yeah, he's supposedly
he won't
talks to people on a regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, have you tried hitting him up on Twitter? Because he's on there all the time. Posting about Simpson shit.
For some reason I'm not getting through all my attempts.
Yeah. Try harder. Try knocking on his door.
Yeah.
That's the next step. That's the next step.
Yep. That'll work, and then comes the restraining order, and yeah. But hey, what are you gonna do? No.
Not that.
Fine.
I'll work at Tesla.
Just go work for him, damn it.
Yeah. Yes. From the inside, man.
30 years later. Oh, this turned out to be pretty nice.
Go put in an application for Neuralink, okay? They're looking for people.
What's Neuralink?
Really? That's his artificial intelligence.
The chip in your head with all the wires that go into your what's the top part of your brain? Not cortex, but I don't know what the top layer is, whatever. But they got a chimpanzee or something, whatever, to play Pong with his brain.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, but it's great. I mean, it's no secret that Elon is like a big freaking, supercomputers are going to take over the world nut job, which not without his reasons. I mean, it could happen, but who knows? But this was his thing about everybody's already a cyborg because we're so attached to our phones, but there's just the lag, I guess, because our fingers only move so fast. So why not put a chip in your brain to eliminate the middleman, so to speak, and make your much faster, basically.
I mean, I just want to be able to turn my TV on and off without having to find that fucking remote again.
Yeah. But their whole presentation for Neuralink was like a medical thing where they were trying to I mean, they already had devices, I guess, that would stimulate muscles for people that have paraplegics or whatever, that the nerve cluster or whatever's damaged. So they would just send the signal another way to their arm and make the arm function again. But I guess those devices were ridiculously expensive. Not that Neuralink isn't at the moment, well, you can't even get it right now because it's not a human thing. But they put it in pigs. They put it in pigs' heads. Craziness. But yeah, to make your muscles work again. Basically, that's what they were trying to do, but a non, something that wouldn't hurt your quality of life, I guess, so to speak, from having this device strapped to you, just so you could use your arm a little bit. But yeah,
a little less intrusive.
They were like, oh, it could help with paralysis and nerve damage stuff. They were talking about, I don't know exactly what they were going to use it for autism for, but that was mentioned. But the only thing it seems to be able to do right now is control your phone and play video games with your. So
that's all it needs to do. That's all it needs to do.
Yeah,
We're
that's
good.
all I really care about. If you can do that, I'm sold.
You just go and play my video games. I'm done.
Yeah, that's what I want. Check my messages, make phone calls. Browse the internet, all in my brain.
Yeah, but the
all
side
sitting
effect
on my
is
fat ass in my bed.
You get splitting headaches from it, I'm sure.
Well, see, I don't know. Again, the human trials are probably very, very far off. But there's a robot that no neural surgeon can do this. There's so many little wires. I think there's I want to say there's 24. There might be more. I might be misremembering there, but these things are like, I don't know, like they're really, really small, like a hair off your head, right? They're like, I don't know, like less than half of that. That's how thin these freaking wires are that they're putting into your brain. So basically they cut out a section of your skull, right? And then they have the chip, which has the things attached to it. And a robot has to install this in your brain. It can only be done by a robot. And then they just kind of like glue the thing, the chip part, the actual circuitry or whatever just becomes part of your skull. So yeah.
I'm thinking I'm gonna wait until they get the wireless version.
Yeah, the one without the wires in the brain. I'll take that one.
I mean, I'm fully expecting that one day I will be able to interface with this device when it shows up without having to have any kind of external thing. It will be able to connect with my brain wirelessly. I fully expect that's going to happen one day.
Okay.
I'm not going to. Why would I?
In your brain.
How's it gonna work?
Yeah. Your brain's going to be able to talk to that device. You need something to be in your brain to talk to the device, and that's
maybe
exactly what Starlink does.
As far as we know, as far as we've been able to determine, you're right. I'm going to say the possibilities are not necessarily determined. There's no knowing what can be created and what's going to be created.
Well, I think you're wrong.
Okay.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinions.
Leave it like that. That somehow, some way, we're gonna figure out how to. Everybody is gonna figure out how to use the what 80-something% of their brain that they don't use.
Oh my god.
No. That's definitely not what I'm saying. I'm saying that device will be able to read and transmit thoughts and signals wirelessly, just like our cell phone signals.
Okay, but what is
one day
in your head to pick up that signal?
No, you don't. That's my thought. I think that one day we will have a way to do it where you do not need any kind of receiver inside of your head. It will beam thoughts right into your head.
Your brain's not going to change. Your brain's not going to evolve. We can't do it.
I don't think the brain has to change.
Later.
All your brain is electronic signals as is. I mean,
yeah,
enough. Yeah. So, I mean, what is a wireless signal? It is a beam of electricity, basically, wirelessly spat out.
So you're just going to like up the signal strength until it fries your brain. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I'm not saying it's possible at this moment, man. I'm saying that I expect that one day it might be a possibility and it might actually happen. So, I mean, we'll see.
It's a theory.
So coming up next on our next episode, we will be talking about how the fuck that's gonna work.
Yeah. I know, Scott, you probably are. Yeah. You probably don't want to jump in right now. Is that so?
I mean, I don't know. We could get into it now, but that's a whole other episode for sure.
That's gonna be good. So yeah, maybe well, probably not next week, but eventually Joe's gonna have to do some research to figure out how in the world a wireless signal is gonna talk to your brain without any type of receiver. But it's a theory.
Or is it a hypothesis?
I don't know. Which one is the...
You guys have heard of this thing called quantum mechanics and quantum computing, right? That, sends signals wirelessly from one atom to another. There you go. There's a possible answer right there. On quantum level. You have heard of quantum computing, right, Rob?
Yes.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, so you know the basis.
We don't know that thoughts work on a quantum level, though. As far as we know, they work. I mean, in the sense that it's electrons. That's the quantum thing involved with it. But I don't think it does the spooky action at a distance thing per se. I don't know.
All I know is if I want to play video games with my brain in my lifetime, Neuralink's going to be the way to do it.
It's very, very possible. I don't want any part of that, but if you do it, let me know how it turns out for you.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to put my Hot Pocket in the microwave oven and walk away and go take a piss and then just be like, do, and then it puts it in for 2 minutes. And then I don't have to press any fucking buttons. That way I don't have to touch any surfaces and I don't get any COVID on my hands.
You getting COVID from Hot Pockets?
No, from touching surfaces, from touching microwave buttons.
From the microwave in your own house.
Surfaces.
Yeah.
In your own
Maybe
house?
not COVID, but the next super virus that comes and infects us. I'm trying to think ahead of the game, man.
He wants a contactless world.
Yes.
What?
Don't touch anything.
One's
I will just float.
technology that's so far beyond, and the other one's waiting for the next super virus. What are we doing here?
We're innovators, man. Keep thinking.
We're thinking ahead.
So yeah, next time, super viruses and Hot Pockets. We'll go with food, maybe. No?
I'm
No.
down for some Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
Should we all get our favorite and bring it in? Show and tell.
Oh,
Any-
Hot Pockets?
favorites. Do we not all have the same favorite?
Or is the pizza one, the pepperoni, whatever?
No, ham and cheddar is
Oh.
our favorite.
I like ham and cheddar, but it's not my favorite.
I actually do think I prefer the ham and cheddar ones the best. Although their breakfast ones, they have a bacon, egg, and cheese
Oh,
one,
yes,
which is
they do.
pretty damn good too.
Yeah, I haven't had a breakfast one in a long time.
Yeah, I don't even remember what that tastes like. It's been so long.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go to the store. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Everybody run. We have to go get Hot Pockets. Yeah. So yeah, new techniques for microwaving Hot Pockets and ramen.
Your brain.
Everybody, this has been Technically Incorrect. I am Rob. I am also joined by Scott and Joe as usual. And that's all for today. Bye.